Hi, hello, how are you? My name is Pinoy. 2023 was an immaculate year for video games and an awful year for video game developers. Many of the talented individuals who created multiple masterpieces throughout the year are now out of a job, and that's just not right. My heart goes out to all of you, and I hope you find work sooner than later.
It's showtime!
Today, I'll be recalling my video game journey throughout 2023 in order to tell you, the viewer, the tastiest video games that titillated my tongue and left an impression strong enough to recommend you
Oh, my bad, I hit the mic.
to play. In 2023, I completed 18 video games. 11 of those titles I'd never played before. 7 of those titles I have played before. To simplify this list, it will only contain titles that are new to me. I may not follow this logic should I do this again next year. Let's begin. Number 11, Sea of Stars. Sea of Stars, despite a couple of shortcomings, lived up to my expectations and provides an excellent take on retro Japanese role-playing games. I still listen to its music months after release, and thanks to Sabotage Studios for providing me with a review copy. I'll be releasing a full video with my thoughts on the game very soon. If you're howling at the moon for a warm pot of sustenance to get through this winter, Sea of Stars will do you more than good. Number 10, Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, Volume 1. Earlier this year, my partner was rushed to the hospital. They're doing better now, thankfully. At the time, I stayed there with them every single day during their recovery. Oddly enough, the game that kept us entertained was Mega Man Battle Network. They'd throw in movies for us to watch, and in between meals, I'd show them the hilarious localization within the Battle Network games. While they drifted to sleep, I'd collect battle chips for my collection. I had played the first game as a child, so maybe I'm cheating a little bit, but not the other two, and I had a great time going through them. Capcom, please show Mega Man some love, whether it's through X9 or a Legends collection. He more than deserves it. Number 9, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. I had just come off playing 2 long RPGs and was raring to go for another. For some reason, I can't stop myself from jumping into long game to another long game to another long game. Instead, I decided to knock out a shorter game in anticipation of its upcoming release. Miles Morales was the perfect fit for this. I haven't played the first game since its release, so jumping back in all these years later was like using a bidet for the first time. A bit scary, but once you've adjusted, you can never go back. Traversal is just as thrilling as I remember, and combat continues to captivate me. Plus, Miles Morales rules. Number 8, Star Ocean: The Second Story R. I'm cheating a little bit with this one as I have played the original. Gem Drops have remade a Tri-Ace classic to a T, with several improvements through its combat, general quality of life, remastered soundtrack with the legend Motoi Sakuraba, and obviously, its visuals. I was lucky enough to receive a review copy from Square Enix, and I plan to talk about it in the near future. If you're interested in playing classic role-playing games or even just RPGs in general, Star Ocean 2 has always been at the peak of pacing its story within the genre. If combat is more your thing, there is a tsunami of umami to choose from, with several systems in place to really craft your characters the way you want, not dissimilar to something like D&D. Number 7, Fire Emblem Engage. Remember what it's like to wake up every Saturday, throwing on Kids WB and praying it's gonna be Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, or Batman and Beyond? And yet it's Fire Emblem Engage. Coming off 3 Houses, I mean, what a tonal shift. It's like asking for a beef Wellington and you're given the largest tub of ice cream imaginable. It's not what I asked for, but I'm not complaining. A nonsensical story coupled with clever tactics gameplay in the form of emblems showered with a saintly soundtrack. I've been chomping at the bit to replay this one on maddening, as well as give the DLC a try. Number 6, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Number 5 and number 6 are almost interchangeable for me. Nevertheless, the one thing that keeps Tears of the Kingdom from reaching my personal top 5 is its map. The sky is wonderful, and the depths are a blast to bright bloom my way through. I love this game. I think Tears of the Kingdom is doing things with player choice that I think will affect the gaming industry at large 5 years down the line. Unfortunately, even with the changes to Hyrule, they weren't quite enough for me to be immersed in every second of my time spent in the world. That being said, there isn't much more that I can say that hasn't been already. Number 5. God of War Ragnarok. Dads are some of my favorite characters to explore in video game media. This is probably because my dad was a stinking pile of shit, and I have some deep-seated issues that subconsciously draw me to good dads, like Barrett Wallace, and now, Kratos, who's also the name of my dog. Despite what creator David Jaffe thinks, I believe the Kratos we have today is stronger than he has ever been. The respect I have for that man is analogous to the strength my mother displays when gutting a fish with a cleaver at the age of 71. Combat has always been a high point for me in the series, and the new free DLC, which I haven't played yet, seems like a fantastic way to dive right back in and acclimate my areolas to the excitement ready to be had with our boy again. Number 4. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Judge me all you want. I was never provided the opportunity to travel Midgar as Zack with the PSP release, so this was my first time I got to properly familiarize myself with him and the rest of his merry band of weirdos. My only complaint is it didn't receive a new localization, but the performance had me by the balls in many of its scenes, even the stupid ones.
No way. He just ate my hair.
I laughed. I cried. I spent way too much time fusing materia. Final Fantasy VII has always had the perfect progression and customization for my tastes, a smorgasbord of choice that never fails to captivate my brain-dead antics. Rebirth, you couldn't come any sooner. Before we enter my top 3 games of 2023, let's take a look at a couple of lists that have already been properly ordered. This is my list of the top 7 games I replayed in 2023. I really like Final Fantasy. This is my list of the top 20 games I wanted to play in 2023. If I listed every game I wanted to play, we'd be here all day. And now, let's begin with the top 3, starting with Number 3. Octopath Traveler 2. With each passing day, my hunger to consume this delectable dish grows to behemoth-like levels. Octopath Traveler 2 is so close to being a perfect, classic Japanese role-playing game. Its pacing is nigh flawless. Its combat, faultless. Its music, brother, if I had an awful suit with sneakers on, white skin, and a boner for Hideo Kojima, of which I have 3 of those, I would not have let the opportunity to praise Yasunori Nishiki's masterpiece soundtrack in my awards show pass me by, nor would I have kicked it to the curb in favor of Final Fantasy XVI to be nominated for Best RPG. An absolute robbery to see this game not get the praise it deserves. I implore you the same way I did with Neo: The World Ends With You. Play this game. Play that game. You will not regret it. Number 2. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. What could I possibly spew out of this sphincter of spit that I haven't already? Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is a masterclass in level design. The soundtrack, outside of a few songs, is a breath of fresh air. Movement is like swallowing a bite of a medium-rare ribeye steak. Juicy, smooth, and leaves a smile on your face. I thank Team Reptile for providing me with a review code, and I beseech you to observe my full review of the game with a watchful eye. I speak only the truth when I say this now, as I said then. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is a Game of the Year contender. Jeff Keighley, while I'm aware it's up to the voting jury, you snubbed a serendipitous sensation with this one. Number 1.
Ready?
What do you think?
Final Fantasy XVI. I may not have played every major release this year, but I could tell before playing it, and I know for damn sure after playing it. Final Fantasy XVI scratched nearly every itch my body desired. Ben Starr has more than lived up to the mantle of Final Fantasy protagonist, and the same can be said for the majority of the cast. I could have done with losing some side quests or at least pacing them out a bit better, as I enjoyed almost all of them. But when I'm fighting and the music is blaring into my eardrums, I'm locked in. Fantasy, outside of its second entry, has never failed to completely immerse me in their worlds, characters, and plot. 16 is no different. Days, weeks, months of time would pass between play sessions, and all I could think about was the last narrative beat I leisurely consumed. Longing for the finish line so I can finally type Final Fantasy XVI soundtrack without a slew of spoilers to slam my spectacles with. I will platinum this game, and I cannot wait to do it all over again. My name is Pinoy, and Final Fantasy XVI is my game of the year. I'd like to use this time to guide you to my Patreon. This video was made entirely possible thanks to my lovely patrons who are there with me during every step of the video making process. Access full video scripts, notes, possible playthroughs, and even watch me edit the final cut. Link is in the description. Leave a like if you enjoyed, leave a dislike if you didn't. Drop a comment and let me know what your 2023 Game of the Year was. Bye. My name is Pinoy, and Final Fantasy XVI is my Game of the Year.